What's up, guys? Nick here from Loyal Losers. First episode of Team Talk. We are on for 2 hours. If you guys heard anything from my phone, I apologize. I was listening to a lot of John Rocker. John Rocker is my favorite baseball pitcher, which might be controversial, which I don't really care about. But we have, we have a lot, and I mean a lot to cover. It has been a long past 2 months for me. It's been a long 2 months for my family, but we are back and we are jumping right into it. We got to cover a lot. So let's start off with the New York Jets. They have made so many trades over the past couple of weeks, so we're just going to jump right into it. First, we're going to talk about the Jets who have departed. Obviously, one being Nick Folk and John Simpson. Nick Folk went to the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons. He went on a 2-year deal. It feels upsetting to lose Nick Folk. He was a solid Jet. Um, Definitely had a lot of good years, but Jets didn't want to offer him a contract, or maybe they did. I'm not really sure, but he's with Atlanta, and it's very heartbreaking. But hey, you move on, I guess, right? Anyway, let's get to the big things as I get my notes together on my phone because I have so much stuff over here. Let's start off with the big one. Before we get into the trades, well, technically this one is a trade. Let's talk about the most blatant one. The New York Jets needed a quarterback, and as I get this over here, there were so many options. One of which I actually starred and was going to do an episode on Unwatchable for Jets quarterbacks. One of them was Derek Carr. Obviously, the Jets did not want to get Derek Carr. I'm a fan of Derek Carr. I thought he was a very solid quarterback for the Raiders. I eventually went with the Saints, I believe, and then ended up retiring because he got injured a lot. The options that were thrown out there were Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Tua Tagovailoa, which I am so glad the Jets not get Tua Tagovailoa. We did not need Tua Tago. But anyway, Jared Stidham I saw was an option. Carson Wentz. He was not coming to the Jets. Jacoby Brissett I also saw was an option for the Jets. But ultimately, the Jets went with Geno Smith. Yeah, that's right. The quarterback from 2013 is coming back to the Jets in Geno Smith. He was with the Raiders previously, and let's just say the Raiders just didn't have a good season. They had a terrible season. Horrible, terrible. Raiders had the first overall pick, and honestly, I think the Raiders were going to trade Geno Smith at some point because obviously they're going to go after the kid. As I forgot his name, I'm drawing blanks. It's been so long. But I actually had this quote. So the Alabama quarterback, Ty Simpson, he said, in quotes, I really love the Jets. Well, Ty Simpson, if you're willing to come to the Jets, which nobody is, by all means, Jets draft him if he's willing to come to the Jets. So the current quarterback, was current quarterback for the Jets. It was Justin Fields as the starter. Tyrod Taylor was the backup, and then the third string was Brady Cook, which we saw towards the end of the season. Brady Cook he was a typical Jets quarterback. You know what I mean? He was just typical Jets quarterback. Didn't have it. I'm not blaming him. It was a miserable season. And, Tyrod Taylor's a free agent. Obviously, I don't think he's coming back, which, I love Tyrod. But, hey, like I said, his time was up. Backup for too long, so he's gone. But the Jets went with Geno Smith, and they got also a 2026 seventh round pick, which is good, actually. The Jets have so many draft picks, which we're going to get into as soon as I get through the rest of these notes for the New York Jets. So Justin Fields is gone. Justin Fields got traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, and wouldn't you know, the Jets also got a draft pick from the Chiefs. So you know what? Let's just get into the draft picks and get it over with. Actually, so the Jets are loaded. This is from an Instagram source, New York Jets report, and he said the Jets are loaded with assets moving forward. The draft picks that the Jets currently own for 2027 is they have a first overall pick. That's their own. Second, they have another first round pick from the Colts, and they also have another first round from the Cowboys or the Packers, whichever one is higher. And then second is their own. Third through 5 is their own. And then sixth, there's 3 sixth. either the 49ers, Chiefs, or Eagles. The 6th-round picks have conditions. Okay. Hey, listen. Jets are a miserable franchise. I'm glad they got, a lot of picks when they did. So, obviously, we don't got to worry about Tua Tagovailoa being the Jets quarterback. Thankfully so. Jets also, their 4th-round pick, Michael Clemens, is departing. He left. This was on March 11th. He left. He signed with a 3-year, $17.5 million deal with the Colts. So he's gone. But it's all right. It's all right, like I said. And the Nick Folk deal was, 2 years. I don't know the money sorts. Again, this is from New York Jets fan only. I didn't see any money, but it's all right. Like I said, and the Jets also hold the 2nd overall pick for 2026. Which, by the way, guys, loyal losers, we will be live for the NFL draft, which is going to be a lot of fun. It is going to be a lot of fun. Pat will be there. Might be some special guest stars. We will see what happens. But let's get into who the Jets got in these trades. And I am, before we go ahead, I am going to apologize because I'm going to butcher these names so badly. I'm going to start with the first one, Mika Fitzpatrick from the Dolphins. 3 years, $40 million. And they gave away a 2026 7th-round pick. They got Demario Davis, 2 years, $22 million. And also, they franchise tagged Breece Hall. This is old news, though. Franchise tagged Breece Hall. And Breece Hall tweeted out, "Damn, we sure got a lot of money in Florham Park. All these contracts dude signing," which, whatever that means. Breece Hall, whatever that means, whatever. It's all good. Breece Hall, I love Breece Hall. Anyway, that's what Breece Hall treated out. So we got Mario Davis, Mika Fitzpatrick, Kingsley Engberg. Like I said, I'm going to pronounce these names horribly. Is 1 year, $10 million. Joseph Osas. Like I said, I'm going to butcher these names horribly. 3 years, $36 million. If Patrick was here, he would obviously be doing this. Well, he'd be doing it with me, and he'd be reading off the draft picks. Not the draft picks, I'm sorry, the trades. But he's unfortunately not here again. And then they got David Onamea, a 1 year, $10.5 million. So, hey, a lot of good things for the Jets. I'm glad that the Jets got these guys. Glad they got a lot of good picks for years coming up because they're gonna need it. Trust me, they are gonna need it. I'm hoping next year, as a Jet fan, I'm hoping next year that the Jets will be better than last year, which only saw them winning 3 games, which is pathetic. But hey, we'll see what happens. Do I got hope? Not really, but we'll see. And also the Jets draft picks for 2026. They have a 4th round, number 140, and 5th round, number 179. So that's going to be great to look forward to. And also, cornerback Nahshon Wright, 1 year, $5.5 million. He had 80 tackles, 5 interceptions. So he seems pretty good. Like I said, I don't have stats on these guys, which I know I should, so I apologize. But I do not have stats on these guys. But it seems like the Jets are going in a good route. It clearly seems like their GM cares, unlike a team in New Jersey. It's not a football team. They're a hockey team, which GM did not make a move. We will get into the New Jersey Devils, but first I got to do the New York Giants as well. Oh, the Jets also signed, as I almost forgot. Thankfully, I have more notes on my phone. Oh, bumped the camera. They signed former Giants safety Dane Belton to a 1 year, $4 million deal worth up to $6 million. Another safety addition for the Jets and 6th defensive player they've added today. This was back on March 9th, so it's not currently today. It was a couple of weeks ago. Like I said, I've been behind on everything, so I apologize. But if we do care, the New York Giants, as we get into their news, their 2026 draft orders, round 1, they have the pick number 5, round 2, pick number 37, round 4, pick 105. Round 4. Yeah, round 4. Round 5, pick number 145. Excuse me. And then they have 3 6th-round drafts. Let's see, pick number 186, pick 192, and pick 193. And both pick 192 and 193, as I zoom in, where pick 192 is from Miami and pick number 193 was from Dallas. So the Giants also signed Darryl Mooney to a 1-year deal worth up to $10 million, and that is a wide receiver. So New York Giants clearly seem to be making some really good moves. And I'll be honest with you guys, and coming from a Jeff fan, I think the Giants are going to have a good year. They got a real coach in John Harbaugh. They got Jackson Dart, Scattaboo. Neighbors is coming back from his injury. These guys are the Giants will be good. I'm telling you, the Giants are going to be good. Their division is not really full of, how do I put this, exciting team. Well, obviously all the teams are exciting, but there's not a lot of threat. Like the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, I mean, he's fallen off the face of the planet. The Washington Redskins, I'm sorry, not Redskins. Can't say that. The Washington Commanders, I mean, have they ever been relevant? Like, well, maybe a couple years ago, but not now. But like I said, that division is not really competitive. Like the Eagles will probably win the division. The Giants will become like a wild card team or something like that. And let's see, I also have more. Giants signed Patrick Richard to a deal, so that's good. They signed him. I believe he was a free agent from the Ravens. I believe. Like I said, this is more Patrick's thing. He's got more of the details to the trades and whatnot, but I am filling in for him. And I already got that one. Giants signed Greg Newsome II, a cornerback, not quarterback, excuse me. They've agreed to terms. That was back on March 10th. One more Jets thing. I apologize. The Browns signed Quinnen Williams to a 2-year, $13 million deal. The $9 million is guaranteed. So, Quinnen Williams, that one kind of hurt, but it's all right, like I said. And Giants brought back Jermaine Elmanor. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. That was to a 3-year, $39 million deal. $26 million is guaranteed. So, and that was back on March 9th as well. Let's see. The Giants sign Tremaine Edmonds to a 3-year, $36 million deal. $23.7 million fully guaranteed, again, back on March 9th. So, both New York football teams making some reasonable moves. And the Giants also re-signed Gunnar Ozekwili. And they released James Hudson III. That was back on March 8th. So the Giants and Jets making trades back between March 7th through March 10th. Like I said, long week, apologize, long month, long 2.5 months. But I'm glad the Jets franchise tagged Breece Hall as we go back into the Jets, actually. Placing the franchise tag was placed at $14.293 million. Franchise tag on Hall. Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that was back on March 3rd. So that just tells you how far behind I am with everything. So we got Jets and Giants out of the way. Sorry if it was quick. But like I said, we got a lot to discuss. Let's get into probably the longest team we're going to be talking about, which is my favorite hockey team, which happens to be from Jersey. The New Jersey Devils. How do I put this? Like on Unwatchable, I'll say whatever I feel like, but here on Team Talk, I cannot. I got to watch my mouth. The New Jersey Devils have had a miserable season. It has been pathetic. It's been miserable. It's been nothing but pain, misery, and disappointment. They are having a good stretch, though. They are having a very good home stretch, as I forgot what the number was. Devils. This is from Devils fan page on Instagram. The Devils' longest homestand of the season, and tied for the longest in franchise history. 7 games is officially in the books. This was yesterday. The Devils went 5-2, picking up 10 of the 14 possible points, and as it stands this morning, the Devils will still hold the 7th place spot in the Metropolitan Division, sitting 11 points back of a playoff spot. So I'm just going to come out and say it. Obviously, the Devils are not making the playoffs. There's too many teams ahead of them. If they do magically win every single game remaining in the season, every single team in front of them has to lose. But they are not making the playoffs. They will not make the playoffs. But just for, giggles and whatnot, March 3rd, the Devils beat the Florida Panthers 5-1. March 4th, There was a shootout win over Toronto Maple Leafs. March 7th was a 6-3 victory over the New York Rangers, which brings me so much joy because I cannot stand the Rangers. And speaking of Devils Rangers, they are currently playing right now in MSG, and it's tied 2-2. Okay. When I started this video, it was 2-1. Back to the Devils' wins and losses. On March 8th, they lost 3-0 versus Detroit. March 12th was a 5-4 loss to Calgary, which sucks, but that was the end of the losing. March 14th was a 6-4 victory over the Los Angeles Kings. And finishing out the homestand on March 16th with a 4-3 victory over the Boston Bruins. Nice, in overtime. 2 points right there. So it was a good homestand, which, I mean, if we really want to talk about homestands right now, I got to get my notes together. The Devils, I believe, were at home. They were undefeated. I believe they were 8-0. Yeah, right here. In the first 2 to 3 months of the season, they were above 500. Started off 8-1. And they were undefeated at home. And, well, we saw that come to an end. Let's get into the millions of dollars down the drain. And we will talk about Tom Fitzgerald right now, actually, because Tom Fitzgerald. Is he the worst GM in sports? Probably not, but he is the worst for this team. I never liked him. He's always talking about salary cap room. He made no, and I mean no, moves whatsoever. Yes, the Devils got Nick Bjugstad. Does that matter? No, because like I said, they're out of the playoffs. But let's just get on to the contracts. In 2025, 2026, the Devils' payroll was anywhere between $80.69 million, $80 million to $84 million. And this includes 17 to 38 contracts. So the NHL cap selling limit is $95.5 million. Timo Meier is making $8.8 million. Jack Hughes making $8 million, which, by the way, Jack Hughes, while I just mentioned his name, I have mixed emotions about Jack Hughes. Yes, I understand he's young. Yes, I understand he's a first overall pick. But he is just always injured. I feel like when you have an injured player all the time on the roster, it's hard to build around him. Now, I'm not saying he's not a bad player. He's a good player, obviously. And obviously I love Jack Hughes. But he's always injured. And whenever he does step back on the ice, while he plays good, he gets injured all the time. Like I just said. When he gets back on the ice after an injury, he gets injured again. Now, am I saying the Devils should trade him? And that's where my mixed emotions comes in. In one hand, I don't want him to trade him because, first of all, he's the Devils' first overall pick, and I feel like he's still got time to grow. But on the other hand, I feel like they should trade him because he's always injured, and you could probably get some value out of him. Obviously not right now because the Devils' season is over, and the playoffs are starting. But, I don't know, maybe in the summertime you could look forward to maybe seeing what his value would be. Again, I'm not saying trade him. I'm not saying don't trade him. I mean, with this general manager, it's hard to tell. But Jack Hughes does get a pass from me because he scored the game-winning goal for USA. He gave him the gold medal. Beautiful. Love it. Took it right out of Canada's hands. It was beautiful. That game was electric. Should have done an episode for that. I did not. That is on me because I was feeling lazy. Nico Hischier is making $7.25 million. And also, while we're on Hischier, he is looking for an extension, I believe, after this season. I got to find the other notes that I had in here. I saw it on one of the Devils fan pages. Well, while we're on Nico Hischier, this one just popped up. Nico Hischier is the first Devil, this was back on March 1st, to have five straight 20-goal seasons since Kyle Palmieri. Ooh, I wonder where Kyle Palmieri went. Well, he went to the New York Islanders. Not back. He went to the New York Islanders when the Devils traded him to the Islanders along with Travis Zajac, and that was the end of it. And I can't seem to find the other notes on Nico Hischier. That's bad. Because I literally just had them. Literally say, oh, here it is. This is from Devils Fanatics. One of the biggest questions going into the offseason, what will happen with Nico Hischier? He has 1 year left on his deal after this season and can be extended. So, it wasn't reported what he was looking for. And this was reported back on February 28th. Wow. That's how long it's been. Almost a month ago from it. Wow. That's bad. So is he gonna get extended after the season? I don't know. I would definitely extend them. I am a big fan of Nico Hischier. I have his jersey in this pile of junk that's on my bed. I have his jersey. I think Nico Hischier is a good captain. I think he's a good leader, team player, you name it. He can also fight, which also the Devils do not have that. I've said this for years. They don't have a Brian Boyle or Tom Wilson type of player. Brendan Dillon, listen, Brendan Dillon, he could drop the gloves, man. Like, I would definitely trust him. The Devils do have some guys who drop the gloves. Nico Hischier, Brendan Dillon. I saw Jonas Siegenthaler a couple times drop the gloves. Fought in the Buffalo Sabres game, which the Devils pathetically lost. So they do have guys who drop gloves, but you need like a Brian Boyle type of player. Because listen, if somebody comes up and levels Jackie, it's happened numerous times. Somebody comes up, and not just Jack Hughes, I'm talking anybody. Somebody comes up and cheap shots your rookie. What are you going to do? You're going to get that Brian Boyle or Tom Wilson guy in there, and they're going to drop the gloves, and they're going to kick that guy's ass. Anyway, back to Devils contracts. We will talk about the Devils after this, or I will. Jesper Bratt is making $7.875 million. Jacob Markstrom, man. He's making $6 million this year. He's going to make another $6 million in 2027 if the Devils don't trade him. Oh, man. Jacob Markstrom. Where do I begin with you? He has had a up and down type of season, mainly down, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of him. All I'm going to say is, just to sum it up, whenever he plays the puck, it is literally holding my breath. Even when he starts a game, I'm holding my breath because you don't know what you're going to get out of him. You really don't know what you're going to get out of him. But he's making $6 million this year. If the Devils don't trade him, he'll make another $6 million in 2027. He was extended after last season. Jonas Siegenthaler, another guy I just mentioned, is making $3.4 million. Excuse me. He'll make another $3.4 million in 2027. Brendan Dillon, another guy I just mentioned, he's making $4 million this year. Paul Cotter is making $775,000. Dougie Hamilton, who signed a 7-year deal back in 2021, he was rumored around trades. He wasn't dealt at the deadline. Is he going to be dealt at the end of this season? I don't know. I love Dougie, but at the same time, if you could trade him and get some value back, go right ahead and do it. But he didn't. There was a trade proposed with the San Jose Sharks, and it was in Hamilton's no trade clause. So that didn't fall through. And then he was floated around a couple different teams and rumors, but none of it ever fell through. He's making $9 million this year. So if the Devils can, eat something of his contract and get rid of him, or if a team is willing to take the rest of his contract, by all means trade him. But I have no hatred for Dougie Hamilton. I thought he was a solid player, and he was actually one of the players back then willing to come here. Because be real with me for a minute. Who actually wants to come to the New Jersey Devils? Nobody. Nobody wants to come to the New Jersey Devils. They're horrible. They are a joke. They suck. They're the worst team in the Metropolitan Division, other than New York Rangers, who I don't want to talk about in this video, but I got to, including that Patrick's favorite team, the cesspooliness known as the New York Islanders. Dawson Mercer is making $4 million a year, and to round it all out, Jake Allen is making $1.8 million. Now, I'm just going to say this because I've seen it when it came to baseball. Having a having a high payroll does not ensure that you go to the Stanley Cup Finals or you make the playoffs for that matter. Obviously, we saw that with the New York Mets, the New York Yankees. I was going to say Los Angeles Dodgers, but they make the playoffs every year, and they still go to the World Series. So, while there was no moves made in the trade deadline, a couple months ago, the Devils had an extension to Dawson Mercer for $4.7 million. Tom Fitzgerald wanted to maximize his salary cap space given his numbers. The Devils did not want to go over $4 million with Mercer, which warranted. However, given how we played his game, this is in quotations, saying at $4 million with cap going could be a steal down the road. So Devils gave him 4.7. They went over. It's whatever. Let's get on the Devils' record. And I had these notes for a long time. So obviously nothing changed since the last time I wrote these notes down. They're still 7th place in the Metropolitan Division. At the time I wrote this down, they had 28 wins and 27 losses. They were 15th in the conference, 26th in the league, and they were 9th in the wild card with 55 points. Wow. You want to talk about winners, guys. You want to talk about winners. Which, by the way, if you want to talk about 500, on February 26th, the Devils fell below 500 for the first time this season. And this was reported from Devils Fanatics on February 26th, like I just said. And from Devils fan page on February 26th, they were 28 and 28 and 2. And they were at 500 after starting 8 and 1. But the Devils have been such a garbage team for the past year. In my opinion, I've been a Devils fan since 2010. I saw them make the Stanley Cup final in 2012 with Marty Brodeur, Zach Parise, Travis Zajac, Ilya Kovalchuk. The list goes on with all those players. They have been in a rebuild since that Stanley Cup loss. Obviously, 2013 was a shortened season for them. They didn't even come close to the playoffs. And that was it. They've been a rebuild. They had a little run in 2018 where they had a good season. They made the playoffs, then got embarrassed by the Tampa Bay Lightning in 5 games. That was a joke. And then it took them until 2023 to make the playoffs. And you barely beat the New York Rangers. You beat yourself the games. And the Devils are actually up 3-2. Connor Brown with his 13th goal this season, power play goal, assisted by Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier. Look at that. Devils take a 3-2 lead over the New York Rangers currently. Let's go, baby. I hate the Rangers so much. So, that was the Devils. And we're not done yet. I apologize. So, like I said, Devils still look to trade Dougie Hamilton after this was 3 weeks after Olympics over. Or after 3-week Olympic break is over. Nothing was ever made by the Devils. But they did get Nick Bjugstad from the Blues. And this is actually one, I wrote this down a while ago and I forgot to mention it. Jack Hughes was not cleared to play for the Devils, but he was cleared to play for Team USA. Now listen, I'm all for players playing for their home countries and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But when you have a player that's not cleared to play for the Devils, or any team for that matter, but they're cleared to play for their country, in this case it was Team USA for Jack Hughes, doesn't that just raise a little suspicion? Does that not raise a little suspicion at all? Like I said, I'm all for, players playing for their home countries. But he's not getting paid to play for Team USA. He's getting paid to play for the New Jersey Devils. Listen, like I said, he scored the game-winning goal for USA. It's all good at the end of the day, I guess. Devils got rid of Andre Palat, finally. Finally, Andre Palat was gone. He got traded to the New York Islanders, a team that I hate the most, and they got this guy, I'm going to mispronounce this name horribly. Ty Plakov. It's a horrible pronunciation, but that's who the Devils got in return for Palat. Obviously, did not get, Matthew Schaefer, Matt Barzal was not going to be anything like that. Let's get into some records that the Devils hold this season. How about this one? And again, this was reported back in February. The Devils had a better chance of at the first overall pick than they have making the playoffs. Again, this is back in February, which I mean, I'm not surprised. And also on February 26th, they had 4 goals in the last 16 periods. And this was a span from January 31st to February 22nd. They had lost the game on the 31st, February 3rd, February 5th, February 25th, and February 26th. Scoring only 4 goals. That is pathetic. That is pathetic. It is horrible. And it's definition of a loser franchise that has been on a quote-unquote rebuild for years. So I mentioned this earlier. For the first 2 to 3 months of the season, Devils were above 500. They started off 8-1, and then they were 28 and 28 and 2. They're not that anymore. We'll get to their record in a minute. In December, last 365 days, the Devils were 32nd in the NHL on 5v5 goals. Dead last in the NHL. Now, is that still the same now? I don't think so, but I would not be surprised if they are. That is a low. For a team in December that was still in a playoff race, you're dead last at scoring goals 5-on-5. It's honestly, I shouldn't even be shocked. I should not even be shocked. But I am. I shouldn't. Or how about this? I don't know if any like younger kids knew this or anything. How about this record against the Winnipeg Jets? The new Winnipeg Jets. Since 2000, the Winnipeg Jets, they came in the league from the 2011-2012 season. Since they played in 2013 and 14, Devils and Jets, the Devils have 5 wins and 19 losses against them. Which, also, by the way, did you know that the Winnipeg Jets have more playoff appearances than the New Jersey Devils in the last 10 years? That's crazy. The new Winnipeg Jets have been around since 2011. And they have more playoff appearances than a team that's been around since 1982. That might not be true. I might be exaggerating that, but still. If you want to go from, let's go from 2015 on, the Jets have more playoff appearances than the New Jersey Devils. That's sad. That is really sad. For a team that's not been in the league that long, that's depressing. And also, the Jets have not won a Stanley Cup, and they have more playoff appearances than you. They played with more heart, which, by the way, the Jets are the worst team in the league. And you went 0-3 against them this season. That's bad. That is pathetic. That is so low. It can't get any more low. Oh, wait, but it can. Against Metro teams this year. Now, again, this was written back a while ago. You're 4-11-2. And you went 0-4 against the New York Islanders this year. Now, I know the Islanders seem to have this superstar team with Emil Heineman, Matthew Barzal, Matthew Schaefer, Ilya Sorokin's on fire this year, Kyle Palmieri. The Islanders, and I really hope Patrick is watching this while he's at his fancy little dinner party. The Islanders are not going to win the Stanley Cup this year. There you go. I said it, Patrick. I'm sorry. You can get mad at me. Islander fans get mad at me. Kill me. Do what you want to do. Now, if they do, all right, they do. I'll apologize, but right now they don't. But you went 0-4 against the New York Islanders this year, which included you getting blown out 9-0. You got blown out 9-0. And again, this was written a while ago, but they had scored 1 or fewer goals in 21 games this season. Most in the NHL, shut out 6 times this season, second most in the NHL, 145 goals, 31st in the NHL. Yeah, that's sad. That is so sad. And like I said, the Devils have been such a loser franchise. And when they made that miracle run in 2012, where back was I was in first grade at the time. I used to come home all the time, and when this was when they were on their run before the playoffs. You know, me and my dad would watch the games and blah, blah, blah. Then when they got in the playoffs, I wouldn't even want to do my homework. I would turn on the Devils game each night. Now, obviously, they didn't play every day like I thought they did with baseball, but they would be on every 2 days unless it was a travel day. I would turn on that TV, and there they were. And in that 2012 season, I thought every single year was going to be like that. The Devils are going to make the playoffs. They're going to have a deep run. No, instead I got hit with heartbreak every single year of my life. 2013, they don't make the playoffs. 2014, they don't make the playoffs. 15, they don't make the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs till I was in the 7th grade back in 2018. And then my senior year of high school. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. That's bad. And they haven't had a good variety of coaching. They haven't had a good variety of GMs. I was a fan of Sheldon Keefe. Not Sheldon Keefe. Oh, my God. I hate that guy. He is horrible. Which, by the way, you want to go through coaches and GMs at risk of being fired at the end of the season? Sheldon Keefe's on there. Are you surprised? And general manager, oh, what a shock. Tom Fitzgerald's on there. Now, obviously, I'm not surprised. Tom Fitzgerald should have been fired a while ago. Sheldon Keefe was never the right guy for the job. I haven't seen him show any heart at all. And Tom Fitzgerald kind of told you that he doesn't really care when he's not making any moves at the deadline. Now, is that a bad thing? No, but still, I wanted them to trade some play. I wanted them to, make some trades or try to make some trades. They didn't make nothing. Mainly, I wanted Jacob Markstrom gone, but he's playing a lot better. But still, I would like him gone. I guess we'll get to some Islanders news. And, Patrick, if you are watching this, congratulations on the win. I just saw your story. Great job, guys. Patrick plays at St. Joe's for lacrosse. And they beat some team 19-7. So good job, Patrick. Loyal losers, proud of you. God damn. All right, Patrick, you have no Islanders news for me. Okay. Before we get on the Mets, let's talk about Team USA and the World Baseball Classic. Again, I apologize if I'm all over the place. The notes are everywhere. It's long week, long month. Team USA, man, for World Baseball Classic, they got embarrassed. Now, they did have a good run in the beginning until they ran into Team Italy. Ha-ha. Yeah, I was voting for Team Italy to win the World Baseball Classic. I'm Italian. Deal with it. I don't care. But when they got eliminated, I was voting for America because, well, I live in America. Aaron Judge truly showed his true colors when it matters most. He went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in the final game. He sucks. In postseason and big moments, he sucks. Especially in the postseason, he sucks. I'll keep saying it. He sucks. Yankee fans, get mad at me, kill me, do what you want to do. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm saying in the postseason and when it matters the most, Aaron Judge sucks. Now, that's not excusing Team USA for I'm not blaming Aaron Judge for the loss. I'm not blaming for anything. Michael Kay, actually, before I started this, I was listening to Michael Kay. He was saying if Aaron Judge homered, all the Judge haters would be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Now Aaron Judge is the best, and he came through and whatever. I'm not saying Aaron Judge is a bad player. He's actually very talented. You put him anywhere in the outfield, he's going to play good. You DH him, he's going to play good. I heard a rumor one time that he's going to play first base. He's probably going to get a first base, too. He's tall, like Chuck Connors did. But in big moments in the postseason, he's just not there. You can just tell. 0 for 3 last night, 3 strikeouts. Man, that game was hard to watch. And you really got to wonder yourself, with the flame-throwing Mason Miller, how do you not put him in there? In a do-or-die game final, you have him on your roster, he's available to pitch, and you don't put him in. You put Whitlock in. And now, while Whitlock is a good reliever, that pitch to Eugenio Suarez right down the middle, man, I'm pretty sure my brother could have hit that. I mean, he would have said that. Then Tyler Rogers comes in, the Mets bum, who is a contact guy. He managed to get out of it. But still, Team USA, I mean, they didn't even get a hit in the 9th inning. Kyle Schwarber struck out. Yeah, Kyle Schwarber doesn't perform either. I think he's on a downcline, to be honest with you, after that last season. And well, if you want to go from the postseason, I think he's on decline. He's on clutch, too. And I hate the Phillies, so. Sorry, Phillies. Hate the Braves. Sorry, Braves fan. Even though I'm wearing a Braves hat right now. Yeah, the Met fan, guys. The Met fan that I am, I'm wearing a Brave hat. But I'm only wearing a Brave hat because of John Rocker. That's it. And also, you can hate me in the comments about that, too. I don't care. I love John Rocker. Deal with it. But Kyle Schwarber is kind of shown to be unpredictable. Now, yes, that Venezuelan closer, he was throwing gas. Yes, it's hard to hit that. But in the last 2 games, he shut out Team Italy. Team Italy didn't get hit off him. And USA didn't get hit off him, which sucks. Excuse me. But anyway, let's get into some New York Met news. New York Mets have been all over the place for a while. Now, before the season started, I had zero hope. Why? Because, well, let's be honest with you. No Pete Alonso, no Edwin Diaz. Where do you go from there with that? There's been a lot of guys who I thought, like Marcus Semion's going to suck this year. Jorge Polanco, I didn't think was the right move. I still don't think it's the right move. I don't think he's going to be a good first baseman. But I was a fan of the Bo Bichette move. Love Bo Bichette. He's playing great over there. He had a 5 RBI game the other night. There's one signing which I am not a fan of. That is MJ Melendez. I am not a fan of MJ Melendez at all. I'm not saying he's a bad fielder. He cannot hit. He cannot hit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull up his stats from 2025 and he was with the Royals. MJ Melendez, which he sucks. Okay. In 2025 with the Kansas City Royals, he had 60 at-bats, 5 runs, 5 hits, 1 RBI, and a batting average of .083. I didn't think it was that bad, actually. But overall, he's a .215 hitter, 52 home runs, 160 RBIs, and the Mets signed him for a 1-year deal. That's definitely a David Stearns type of signing. Let's see. So I got MJ Melendez. Okay, here we go. MJ Melendez 2025 campaign. He only played 23 games. Okay, so I get it now. He only played 23 games. He went 5 for 60, batting average of .083 with 1 home run, 1 RBI, and 3 stolen bases on November 21st, 25. He was non-tenured by the Royals, became a free agent. And then on February 12th, Melendez signed with the Mets on a 1-year, $1.5 million contract. And actually, if you want to get into MJ Melendez, yesterday at noon, him and Christian Scott were opted to AAA, and right-handed pitcher Albert Alzroyle, infielder Christian Arroyo, right-hand pitcher Nick Burdi, right-hand pitcher Dave, have all been reassigned to another camp along with Jose Rojas. MJ Melendez and Christian Scott were opted to AAA. So that is currently where the Mets stand right now. Those roster moves were made yesterday, like I said. But the Mets currently in the spring training right now are having a very good. There's one Met, though, who is having a horrible, horrible, horrible spring training, and that's Mark Vientos. Mark Vientos is having probably one of the worst spring trainings I think I've ever seen out of a New York Met, as I have the stat actually right here if my phone loads up. Mark Vientos is having an abysmal, this is from Mets Cast Pod. He is batting .043. He is 1 for 23. And speak of which, he had a higher average in the World Baseball Classic. He had like a 113 average. He went like 1 for 13 or something like that. He was horrible. And now, oh my Lord. And everyone's like, should the Mets try and trade Vientos? I said that for a while. They should try and trade Vientos. Obviously, he had a good 2024 campaign, but Mark Vientos cannot field, and honestly, after 2025, he really can't hit that well either. Now, I think the Mets in the offseason before spring training should try and got some value for him. They did not. David Stearns, I guess him, Polanco, and Beatty are going to platoon at first base. That's the thing, though. I don't know where Mark Vientos fits on this roster currently, because if I could try and find the damn thing. All right, whatever. I guess not. All right, here we go. Because I don't know where he fits on this roster. Because you're going to have Bo Bichette playing third base. You're going to have Lindor obviously at short. Semien second. Brett Beatty's actually having a good spring training at first base. I love Brett Beatty. I'm a fan of him. So if you don't like it, I don't care. What about Jared Young? You guys remember Jared Young from last season? He's still on the team. He hasn't been DFA'd yet. But I think he'll be starting in AAA, honestly. Either that or he'll be DFA'd. One of the two. Other than Mark Vientos, there's another guy who's not doing well. Wasn't doing well, I said. That was Sean Manaea. He was not, I think it was a couple weeks ago or a week ago, something like that. He was not even hitting over like 85 or like 87. He wasn't touching 90, which is bad. But yesterday, though, he had a good one. 4 innings pitched. He had 0 hits, 0 runs, 0 walks, and 4 Ks. That is the Sean Manaea I remember. Go a little, obviously it's spring training, but hopefully in the regular season he goes longer than 4 innings. But who knows, honestly. Who knows when it comes to that. Also, the Mets retiring Carlos Beltran's number 15. This might be a controversial take. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not. Because Carlos Beltran was a better, and this is my opinion, I think he was a better player with the Royals than he was the Mets. Obviously, he had a lot of big Mets moments, but I, I just don't think he's worthy of his number hanging in the rafters. Maybe swing the bat next time when the bases are loaded, Carlos. But whatever. Everyone's like, oh, you can't blame him. I'm going to blame him. Like I said, shoot me, kill me, do whatever you want to do. Kodai Senga, 5 days ago when he went, had actually a good outing. He struck out 5, went 3 innings, struck out 5. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So hopefully he bounced back after the abysmal season he had last year, getting opted to AAA, getting injured, and everything else. But like I said, hopefully they. Now, when the Mets lost Alonso Diaz, I was very negative about it. And as you guys remember on Unwatchable, which I could say more on Unwatchable than I can here on Team Talk, I was devastated, obviously. It was a lot of crash outs, but I think the Mets this year win 85 games. I think they do. They got solid roster this year. Freddie Peralta, Noah McLean, deadly 1-2 punch. And I was going over this with Patrick the other day. Where do you go for the opening day roster? So I'm going to give my opening day roster suggestion. I have it right here. Obviously, Lindor leading off. I'm going to have Polanco batting 2, which is it's whatever. I'm going to have Bo Bichette batting 3. I'm going to have Robert Jr. cleanup. I'm going to have Semien 5. Alvarez 6. I'm going to have Tyrone Taylor 7. I'm going to have Carson Bench 8. And I'm missing one player. I forgot to fill in the other player. Anyway, whatever. I don't care. That's Patrick's fault again. Let's get on Carson Bench for a minute, actually. Carson Bench is still fighting for his last spot on the 40-man roster, which I think he'll make the 40-man roster, but I think the Mets start him off in AAA. I think that's what they'll do. Oh, Beatty. Oh, my God. I forgot about Beatty. I'm an idiot. Beatty's my DH. There you go. There's the opening day roster. Again, not in a set order, but... And Vientos, get off this team, please. But I think Carson Bench makes the team. And, well, he'll make the 40-man, but he'll start in AAA. He'll start in AAA. I feel like it's the best thing for him. But he's having an unreal spring. So is Tyrone Taylor, actually. Tyrone Taylor's having an unreal spring, too. Oh, God, excuse me. Dry mouth. But hopefully the Mets can pull it together this year, and they find a way to make the playoffs. Hopefully the Jets find something to do. But they probably... Just win 5 games, please. Just win 5 games. That's all I'm asking. So... Hopefully we see some good. Obviously the Devils. Let's get on some Devils. My girlfriend just randomly text me. How many people do you snap? Your snap score is like 400 a day. Snap everyone on my phone. Who do you think? Oh, Jacob Marshall gave a back-to-back goals. Oh, man. Oh, speaking of the Devil, the Islanders just signed Cole Eiserman. The club has signed forward Cole Eiserman to a 3-year entry-level contract. Oh, okay. It's not bad. Nico Hischier has entered the top 5 all-time scores in New Jersey Devils franchise history with 195. Wow. All right. Oh, here's one. Craig Kimbrell. Is Craig Kimbrell going to make the opening day roster? I hope so. I feel like Craig Kimbrell was a very good pitcher a while ago. I think he's still got some gas left in the tank, honestly. Oh, also, can someone tell me what is the obsession with Richard Lovelady? He's been DFA'd by the Mets 4 times now. Yeah, 4 times now. And the other day when Justin Hagerman, I think something happened with his ribs. I forgot exactly what it was. He's on a 6-day IL now. There's so many Mets pitchers from last season that are on the injured list. Reed Garrett's obviously one of them. Tyler McGill. Now Hagerman's on the 6-day IL, and they claimed Lovelady off waivers from the Nationals. again. He's gonna get DFA'd a fifth time. Like, I don't understand the Mets. But I guess for Stearns to have one more option, I don't know. I don't know. But I'm already gonna. I'm already gonna tell you he's gonna be DFA'd after spring training or halfway through the season. Not even halfway. He'll be DFA'd again, and that's gonna be the fifth time by the Mets because I don't know if you guys remember. I believe it was October of 25, maybe middle of October. Lovelady was signed to got signed to a minor league deal, and then sometime it was a couple months later, maybe like July. Again, I don't have not July, January. He was DFA'd again. I gotta actually pull it up right now. Let's see. Let's look it up right now. Richard Lovelady. There we go. Still says he's on the Nationals, which he's not. Let's see, New York Mets. January 22nd, Lovelady was DFA'd following the acquiration of Vidal Brujan. Probably botched that saying too. But and then on January 29th, actually, Lovelady was claimed off waivers by the Nationals. And then he was designated for assignment on March 10th, and nothing else has come of that. But it said that he was claimed off waivers by the New York Mets. But according to this right here, the final bullpen spot for the New York Mets is shaping up to be a tight battle between Kimbrel, Brian Hudson, and Richard Lovelady. God, please just DFA Lovelady for the fifth time. We already know it's coming. We already know Lovelady's going to get DFA'd another time. We already know it. We already know it's coming. Seriously, just do it. Make Frank the Tank happy. I remember I was listening to Frank the Tank podcast the other day, and I believe it was his buddy Jenks who told him. Yeah, I think it was him or Mikey Betts, one of the two. Told him that Richard Lovelady got claimed off waivers by the Mets, and he lost his mind. He was like, "Why do they keep coming to get him? Blah blah blah." So, anyway, we already know it's coming. We already know the fifth DFA is in part for the New York Mets by Richard Lovelady, and he was not good for the Mets either. He might have had a couple of like maybe one or two, three good outings, but you DFA'd three times in the regular season. You DFA'd before spring training. Not even. You're DFA'd in January, and then you get DFA'd by the Washington Nationals. Something's not right with Dickie Lovelady. But before we wrap this up, March Madness is almost here. I am not participating in brackets this year because I always suck with brackets. But I am going hard with gambling. Not real sports gambling. I'm doing Fliff. It's the where you get like $2 free cash or whatever you can bet on whatever. And after you make a certain amount, I think it's like 50, you can pull it out. But I make some insane parlays on there. So I'm currently not doing a bracket this year. I wanted to, but I just don't have time. I'm not gonna be able to watch 40 games on that TV or on my laptop or anything. But obviously, if we had a studio set up, which I still got to work on. So, if you guys are doing a bracket, I'd love to hear what type of bracket you guys are going to do. Who do you think is going to win it all? I would definitely love to hear that down in the comments section below. So, please let me know. And that is the end of the first episode of Team Talk. I'm not staying on until 10 o'clock. I got other stuff to do before I got even more stuff to do before I can go to sleep. But we will be back for tomorrow for episode 2. We'll have more news around the football, hockey, baseball. We'll do Islanders news tomorrow, Rangers. We'll throw in some Knicks news and Nets news. That is the end of Team Talk for today, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Peace out, guys.